Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Assalamualaikum.
Salam, sir.
Salam.
Salam, sir.
Nak menjawab pun lambat.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
Okay. UM have what server problem tapi boleh nampak kan dia punya webpack kan. Cuma slow sikit lah kalau nak buat dealing with server kan, ke QR code ke apa semua kan, lambat sikit. Boleh tapi lambat sikit. As usual, before we begin the class, to all the Muslim, we begin by reciting the Fatihah and Salawat. Okay, like to remind you all, your quiz is on the 19th night. Kan? First quiz is on 19, and second quiz 19, third quiz is the other week. I don't give many ample time to do. You just do it during the class time. All right. You can do any time you like, but during the class time, I said the timing will be from 2:30 to 4 o'clock. So around that time, you can choose when your suitable time to do lah. Same also for the second quiz lah. So tak ada dah sampai pada hari-hari buka kan, because through experience last semester, if too long opening the system, it will affect some of you have problem in terms of they submit, but this, the result, the question that they do is it submitted but doesn't appear, and some submitted but close paruh saja, and that one is a problem lah, right? So on the quiz day, please be aware, be reminded that make sure your online is okay lah during the class time. As usual lah, nak macam hari lain kan, class time, make sure the data is enough. When the unify your house is good, and also UUM lah. Tapi kalau kata sekali itu tak ada, tapi masalahnya bila you dah buka sekali, you kena habiskan ya. Jadi tak ada stop lah. Okay, so hopefully everything's okay. Alright. Any question you want to ask? For the carry mark, all okay, good. In terms of assignment 3 lah. The top right, top 1 is good, top 2 is good, top 3 is good. Then before lah, the last semester we invite Nima also, but this one is better lah, you get some information kan. Okay. So maybe if you completed the report properly, with all the information that I requested, you put in, you get full mark lah, 10 marks. Tinggal lagi two assignment, and also your quizzes. Yes, Tanushai.
Yes, sir. Sir, the program report need to submit where, sir?
Come again?
The program report, final report,
Yeah.
have to submit at where, sir?
I think I open in you check announcement, ada announcement tak? Wait, I check.
Okay, sir. I will check.
Ada dalam announcement tu ada tak? Wait, I check. Oh, tak ada Tak apa, later later I will make a link for you to submit the assignment 3, the top report. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
But make sure all committee, all team members must check first to ensure their name are there, because I will give the marks based on the name there. Okay, which committee you belong to. So the committee name must put also the metric number. Alright. And mind to all these project director for the top, make sure the metric number sequence is according to your attendance lah, lower to higher, right? Numbers. So senang saya nak bagi markah kan. Okay, jangan ditaruh haywire kan. Sat tinggi, sat rendah, sat balik bawah. So it's difficult. So put the names for all the committee based on the sequence from low to high, and from minimum to maximum, the flow of numbers, metric. Like say committee online talk session, ada 10. 10 tu starting from the lower to the highest, then macam number. Based on committee lah, bukan the whole committee, the whole report. Susah lah kan, nanti ada komiti tu ada yang apa, kecuali ketua lah, ketua komiti tu yang nombor 1 lah. Yang lain ikut. Okay, kalau ada ketua, ada timbalan ketua ke, ada ni, you ikut sequence lah. Kalau ada komiti yang banyak tu, yang apa, AJK ramai tu, you put dah, you assign that according to the metric lowest to highest. Dalam pengurusi ke, ataupun PD ke, ataupun as a secretary ke, whatever, itu you can put your name, no matter the numbers is, sequence lah, tak apa lah. Tapi yang ramai-ramai tu ikut sequence. Faham? Anything? Faham my request now? Danusia?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. Reference tu yang last. Maksud apa ni? Maksudnya apa tu? Saya reference artikel punya, faham tak? Yang ini you punya. Kalau ada yang you refer yang luar lah. Apa nama ni, tapi main reference is the report lah kan. The report. Tahu main reference your report tu, untagged report tu. Kan untagged report tu is your main reference. Ambil tajuk je lah tahun bila kan. Baik macam biasa lah APA by whom kan. Tapi jangan ambil reference dalam untagged tu, faham tak? Yang itu memang dah ada untagged punya. So bila you buat review nanti, you review based on the reference untagged report tahun yang you terlibat, yang you kena buat tu, and then lain-lain reference lah, ada reference that related to your review. Understand? Jangan ambil yang belakang dekat untagged tu, itu banyak lah kan. So your reference just the untagged report in what year that you need to do. That is the report, but put it in APA style lah. And the other thing is that other reference that you are referring other than the report untagged lah. Mungkin ada lain yang ambil kan. Ada one you kena taruh lah. Don't take untagged punya reference at the back of untagged report tu kan. That one is not relevant. Okay. Any problem during the reviewing? Ada masalah during the reviewing? Ada? Anything you want to ask about that? Ada? Tak ada? Senang semua?
So far semua okay, sir.
Okay. Bagus. I will, I dah explain before, right? But I will put also the instruction lah. At least, you can know lah kan, what it's all about. Although I told you before, but it's the same juga, cuma I nak taruh dalam online. Okay. Hopefully you have gone through some slides, prepare for the quizzes. Today we continue our class on bill of lading. I think you finish, you know, bill of lading. I think tak bisa kan. Okay. Bill of lading is an important document for mobility of cargo from exporter to importer, right? For the carrier, carrier need to have this bill of lading. Exporter need to have it. Importer needs to have it, and even the financial institutions need to have it, right? Because bill of lading will clarify what are the cargo, right, in detail. Who are the buyer? Who are the seller? Exporter, importer. Who are the carrier? Right, and then the Incoterms, Incoterms that related to the dealing between the exporter importer, or sometimes dealing with brokers, agents, because nowadays most of the dealing is not directly to the exporter, but the exporter use the third party logistics to handle everything. So the transfer, the process of dealing from the exporter to the importer by using agents atau brokers atau third party logistic, and then they will have the BOL in the documented in the BOL form. So but payment wise it will be between the exporter and the importer, and the exporter will pay the third party, right? Okay, that's the arrangement, right? But some big third party logistic provider ataupun forwarding agents, they have the consent from the exporter to act on behalf of them. So the transaction will be dealing on with the third party logistic or the freight forwarding, because the exporter have engaged them and the dealing is with them. So that one is much more easy for the exporter, right? Importer usually they deal direct with the importer, right? No such, I mean, seldom lah we are heard process whereby importer engage third party to deal with the third party. Uh, uh, Usually not the way lah. Usually the exporter engage, because to deal with import-export documentation is quite tedious, right? It's quite tedious. That's why they engage with a third-party logistic to handle it, right? Like PKT, like EH Utara, right? And many more lah. Tiong Nam, Pukul Nagel, kan? Pukul Nagel, DHL, right? Apa? DHL satu lagi yang US punya yang famous saya lupa nama. That one is big forwarding ataupun courier service. Courier service not only covers small parcel, but also they handle the company lah. The company can also handle a big import export transaction. They also handle small door to door delivery, the last mile delivery, right? So don't be surprised lah. Like DHL, they also they have also services for last mile delivery, but they also have what they call it import export punya transaction dealing, as a third party logistic lah. Okay. So in bill of lading usually consists of all the information needed to know by the carrier, by the importers, right? Also for the exporter side ataupun the broker side, agent side, the third party logistic, and also the customs and the financial institutions. In order to process the payment of cargo, because usually cargo will be transferred hands of ownership after the payment made, right? Because you're talking about large amount quantity of cargo, right? And then the large amount of value of the cargo. So definitely there's seldom lah you get credit. Credit selalunya kalau wholesaling lah retailing and wholesaling transaction, you can get credit. But for import export, usually you pay first, then you get. And the transferring of ownership sometimes happening on the ship, on the carrier. It depends on the arrangement by the importer and exporter, or by the third party logistic with the importer, right? So there are two types of bill of lading: strict bill of lading, non-negotiable bill, order bill of lading, negotiable bill, right? So bill of lading, they have two types: non-negotiable and negotiable. Usually, it's easy to look like this lah, non-negotiable and negotiable, right? So non-negotiable is strict bill of lading. Negotiable is order bill of lading, based on order. Arahan, order ni macam arahan. So bill of lading serve three basic functions. It's a contract of carriage, right? The carrier involved, a receipt, and an evidence of ownership. And why the ownership is stated or stipulated in the document of bill of lading, and when the ownership transfer also been stipulated inside based on the Incoterms, right? That's why you need to memorize Incoterms. That's why importers ataupun exporters, they don't want to think about these things, too many things. And the mechanism of import export is always changing, right? Based on the situations, either economic situations, the international relations situations, right? And like now is pandemic situations. Pandemic also now is coming in 2 years period of pandemic. Many phases of pandemic occurs, and different phases, different requirement by the authorities. And some phases of pandemic period, you need to have what they call it stringent documentations, stringent process of clearings. So it's always changing. It's always changing. That's why it's tedious for the exporter to deal with this nitty gritty of import export and the process of it. So they engage a third party logistics to handle. All right. So evidence ownership based on the Incoterms been discussed upon to exporter and importer and the carrier. So they will decide how. Usually, the ownership can straight be transferable to the importer from the port, from the port at the port of the exporter, port of the exporter. Once the cargo go out from the warehouse of the exporter and reach at the port, then the ownership transferred to the importer after the payment made. Understand? Some the ownership start transfer to the importer, the buyers, on the ship at the port of importers. Port of importer. Faham tak? Kalau exporter is from US, port of exporter where in New York, in Los Angeles, right? It depends. And then when you reach to, for example, Malaysia, at the port of the importers, where Penang, Auckland, PTP, or Singapore. So that is the agreement upon agreed upon which one they choose. Some of the ownership transferred when the ship is going towards the port of importer. Some at the port of importer itself when the cargo been laden, been downloaded at the port. So there are many situations that affect the Incoterms. Okay, but whatever it is, bill of lading is a document that holds a contract of carriage, right? A contract of carriage. That's why carrier produce the bill of lading. That's why in the bill of lading, the carrier, the ship, is been notified. What ship is that? The carrying the cargo. Even to the extent, some bill of lading they even mention the location of the containers on the ship because the stowing plan. And I remember, if you remember, in earlier semester we talked about the stowing plan of a container on the ship. Just imagine if the ship is the biggest ship in the world for container. So there's a lot of container on the ship. So where is the container? Also they mention in the bill of lading, right? So they know. And then which port they need to load it, download it, this container, which port. So it's mentioned also. And which port the container comes from. Also been mentioned. Which company involved is the exporter. Which buyers involved, the importer, right? And what about the taxations? Who will cover? Is it the seller or the importers? So all this arrangement been cleared by the broker or by the exporter, right? To the importers. Okay. And also the information about the ship, like just now, the ship information is important, right? With ship numbers, everything, right? So shipping companies name, endorsed by the captain, right? And then as a receipt of proving that transaction occurs, mobility of cargo happens, executed. So that is the purpose of bill of lading, and also showing of evidence of ownership. Right? When talking about ownership for container, it's about the timing of the ownerships. Where does it begins to be transferred to the other part? Initially, the ownership is to the exporter, right? And what happened when the container is on the ship? What happened to the container is the container left the port of exporters and on the ships. What happened during the journey from port of exporter to the port of importer? What happened when the cargo been downloaded to the port of importers? So these are the things that you need to deal with, to be clear, because it involves ownership, it involves insurance, right? It involves cost, money, right? Okay, the two type is straight bill of lading. Straight bill of lading is uh, non-negotiable bill of lading, right? Okay, non-negotiable, non-negotiable. It is non-negotiable bill of lading is used when the goods that are being delivered are already paid for, right? Or are donations or gift and don't require payment. Using this, the consignee is delivered the goods by the shipping company upon presentation of identification. So for straight bill of lading, it's about payment. It's being cleared earlier. Usually either by the exporter or importer, right? And then if the cargo involve a gift, no need, meaning that the importer doesn't need to pay, right? Because it's a gift by, for example lah, by one person to another. It's a gift. If it's a gift, so meaning that nothing, no payment involved. All been paid by the gifter. The gifter who give it. Kalau yang gift, kalau yang bukan gift, meaning that the payment is cleared by the exporter, right? It's cleared early, right? Okay, ataupun it also can be cleared by the importers, because sometimes to safeguard the importers, the cargo need to reach at the port, then the payment clear. Understand? But some cases, because of acting of the utmost good faith, acting at the utmost good faith. Utmost good faith ni, if you learn about contract law, atau contract of carriage law, utmost good faith is very important conditions that when you're dealing with other parties, You must have that one, right? Utmost of good faith. So it's settled earlier. The risk and benefit of using straight bill of lading. The risk is the original bill of lading is not required to be presented by the buyer and the carrier to get the goods. This may run risk for payment under the letter of credit and cash against documents payment method. So, like I told before, there's many fraud, con in terms of the providing the bill of lading, right? For that matter, the process of non-negotiable bill of lading is quite dangerous because it seems that the whole process been paid earlier, so they ataupun based on the gift, the original bill of lading is not required to be presented, right? To take the cargo. This thing has usually already been rectified, and to avoid any fraud, any bogus operation atau bogus transaction. Bogus meaning that ada penipuan bogus, not true, not real. Okay, so because of the risk exists, many process of straight bill of lading been improved to avoid any fraud or any we call it bogus transaction that will lead to losses of the parties involved. Because once the money is cleared to somebody account, it's hard to get back, right? That's why nowadays the bill of lading, they are trying to use blockchain. Before blockchain, they use bill of lading, electronic, right? So need to be a verified process of verification is a lot. Authentic verification process. The benefit is it's easier lah, because the importer or the person who receiver of the gift can get directly the goods from the ship, from the carrier, which may eliminate demurrage and detention charges. And that is why it's popular, but it's dangerous because there's risk. There's risk. It's favorable, maybe it's favorable, but when risk involved, favorable number two. The first one is to be safe. It's better to be safe than sorry. In English idioms, they have it better to be safe than sorry. Meaning that it's better to be take precaution and take care of the system well, rather than you incur loss later on. So that's what they said. It's better to be safe than sorry, right? So the benefit is you can easily get your cargo from the carrier without having the bill of lading. Sure, because everything is settled. It's settled earlier, so the carrier doesn't bother enough to reconfirm the website because everything is clear. They are clear, right? The whole process is clear already. Payment has been made already. So just who want to take it plus a proof of saying that the cargoes belong to them. That's it. It's quick and easy. And due to that, maybe there will be no demurrage and no detention costs because the owner itself take it from the carrier because only the owner knows their cargo right. So that's the problem. And this owner can be bogus also, right? Bogus to whom? They are bogus to the captain, to the ship, to the carrier. But at the end, found out that the owner is different, not the one that come with the document. And that's a problem. So in life, in business, there are many fraud. There are many transactions that is bogus, and that is open to fraud. Maksudnya many process that are easily open to fraud. Like I've told before in the class, everything involving human, every process and transaction involving human. When it involves human, although the process is robust, is very tight security, authentic verification process, but the the manning of the system is still human, and human have many have the positive and negative side of human, right? And human have aspirations, have need and wants, have and then also have problem in their life. Maybe because of that, their conscience on to be ethical will be compromised because of event that happen to them, that surround them. That's why you can see whatever system the world have, and when it rely on human, still fraud happening, still bogus transaction happening, still money laundering happening, right? Black money, right? No black money. Money has not is been authentically verified, where the sources and the users is still bogus. Don't know who's the owner, from where they got it. Don't know. That's why there's many new regulations act on that. Money laundering act lah, black money punya procedures, apa, avoidance procedures and practice, and all these things. They're afraid that the money comes from somebody else that used to for terrorism. That maybe, for example, not terrorism but other illegal usage of the money, right? For example, money belong to the public, been siphoned, been laundered for the purpose of personal interest. That one also they what they still have many procedures and work under many regulations or to acts that avoid them. And those days, yes, easy, but nowadays it's difficult, right? For example, transaction that more than 10,000 ringgit per day made through banking system need to verify clearly. Those days you can just transfer how much you want, is easy. No holds bar, tak ada halangan. Sekarang ni tak silap saya 10,000 saja. Transaction yang keluar need to verify. To whom, from whom, for what purpose. Faham tak? That's the way how to control this, how to control this bogus and fraud transaction. So that benefit totally refer to demurrage and detentions and easier convenience to the person who involved in receiving the cargo. Why I say like that? Because it can be a gift. If they buy it or they bought it, it's an importer lah. Understand? So these things. Bill of lading that is written, drawn, or written to order of the consignee and is therefore a negotiable instrument of title. Ownership of goods covered under it can be transferred by one party to another. That's the these are the popular these are the what we all document that I mentioned before, that transferring of ownership can happen from importer to exporter on the carrier, right? Okay, ni macam if you know about banking instruments, you learn not banking instrument whereby you have a check, right, or cash, the check, cash, check, or other intermediaries of financial document, right? So for check, they have direct cash check. No need to put your name or whatever. It's a cash check, and anybody can cash it to the counter. But usually that one is easy, but not safe. The safer one is cross check. Cross check is like to order. Cross check is like to order for bill of lading lah. It's like cross check lah. Meaning that a check that when they cross pay to the pay to the receiver account only. Others cannot cash it. Only the receiver that know the account can cash it with the proof of identification, verification. That is the meaning of order bill of lading. Analogi dia like check lah. Kalau yang straight bill of lading ni dia like open check cash. Anybody can take it and cash it. For what? For non-negotiable, negotiable, you need to have instructions or order to whom the consignee should go to, right? So the title of ownership of goods covered under it can be transferred by one party to another by signature endorsement and delivery of the bill of lading. Generally, goods which have not been paid for in advance, alright, sent under an open account or a letter of credit are shipped under to order bill of lading, right? The ownership of the cargo if using this kind of bill of lading is not easily transferred to the exporter, but upon request by the importer to the carrier, the captain should endorse it, and when come to the importer should endorse it, should also endorse it, right? So the process is more secure, to be more secure as compared to the previous one. All right, these are the example of what the normal piece of lading. This is the use of formula, but nowadays no form. Nowadays they use bill of lading or they use a system blockchain, whereby the information are maybe less more or less the same, but the platform is different. Okay. All right. So these are the terms. The what the information involved. Number 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is here. Shipper name, point of origin, date of shipment, shipper name. You can read and you can check back later on. So the information usually like this lah. Shipper, point of origin, date of shipment, truck, freight, shipper's number, carrier, agent number, agent name, broker lah. Assigned to destination, route pun ada. Delivering carrier, vehicle car number, number of packages, description of shipment, weight, class or rate. Ini classification of cargo without recourse, prepaid shipment, prepayment received, charges advance, COD shipment, declared value, shipper agents, carrier agent, permanent address, certification. So you think there's many things to put inside the lading. That's why it's easy lah if you can engage with the party, logistic or forwarding, because to the exporter concerned, they want to ensure that first of all their production being sold, so that they can get the cash, and the second concern is so that their cargo once been sold will be reaching the importers, the buyers, in a good condition, right timing, right amount, right? That is the goal of logistics, right? Right condition, right timing, right amount, right? Okay. So to exporter, that is their concern. We didn't want to think about other documentation process. It's very tedious. Tedious. Rumit. So why not they engage and they pay? By right also, if you don't engage with the party, you need to pay also, right? All the process. and you need to employ maybe 1 to 5 personnel, or 1 to 10 personnel that will be in charge of import export documentation and process. So it's a lot of money also, right? So why not you just engage, you pay based on contract for how long, again, and then let them do it for you. What you want to know is your cargo reach on time to the customer, on right condition, safe, secure, and right amount, right? Understand? So these are the reason you can see why exporter use third-party logistics. Okay, BOL is governed by United States law and the federal. Okay, usually the government of BOL is required by many country laws, because when you talk about international import export, definitely they're required by many laws by many countries. So you need to have it, right? And it's a requirement for many custom clearance, right? They need to have a copy of the BOL. And based on the BOL, they will calculate the taxation. Taxation is the benefit, profit at the benefit and profit to the country involved. Import duty. Remember they call it import duties, export duties, right? Export duties is charge when the thing exported. Import duties charge when the thing imported. There are many other charges involved, like port charges, detention, demurrage. They have to port charges on the yard, on the yard, on the space, on the warehouses or space for putting the container at the port, or before the parties take it from the port. If when disruption happen, the supply chain disruption happen, what happen is that the cargo, the container been put on the port, at the port place, at the port yard, longer than actually required. That's why the stack up of container you can see at the port build up, from 1 story to 2 story, 3 story to 4 story, because of delaying and in the whole process of clearing the container. And due to that, there'll be charges. Not only detention, demurrage, but also at the port itself. Right? So you can imagine the product that you buy, for example, Gucci, for example, imported goods. For example, you can buy, the cost is transportation cost, and the manufacturing cost is $10 per item. The logistic cost is more than half of the manufacturing cost, and it will be more higher if the total disruption involved. It can be higher than the manufacturing cost. Just imagine, like I told before, one container from China to US, those days only cost less than 10,000 or maybe 11,000. I think 3,000 US. Now it costs 20,000 US. Just imagine how the rate increased. And then that's why you'll be surprised later on that I warning you before, right? This year you will see prices will go up crazily. Now you can feel it. If you go to the market or you go to the hypermarket, everything on the shelf, most of the product on the shelf now is empty. Right? Even in Tesco or Simat, banyak kosong. Why? They're waiting to the next batch, for the next batch to come. And this batch, definitely, you will mark my word, they will go up the price, because no business people, no exporter or importer want to bear the cost of the hike. True or not? If they bear the cost, they are lost. And no business people want to make loss. They want to make money. So they will transfer everything to you, the buyers, the consumer. And what happened? Rakyat will come out. They mean the government to control, to asking the government to control. The government can control to what extent? What extent the government can control? The government can control macam apa nama ni, staple goods ataupun bahan-bahan mentah yang keperluan, boleh, itu boleh. Tapi takkan nak control semua harga kan? It's impossible for government to control all prices. Then it would be a trouble to Malaysians. Why? Because your salary will not increase, but your cost of living will keep on increasing double or quadruple. Then what happened? There will be economic problems. There will be social problems. That is the country worst nightmare. Not Malaysian, but all countries in the world. That is their worst nightmare. If the people living in the condition of not enough and not secure, that will be a big problem to the country. So it's not good in a side. But you can see now, the cases of COVID is coming back. Australia cases, never before this achieved 100,000 cases per day. Australia. Now it's only third or fourth wave, right? Never before one, two, third wave that Australia goes to 100,000 cases per day. But now they suffered. Philippines also same. America, Europe same. If one more round of pandemic and one more round of MCO, the destruction won't finish. It won't finish. Supply chain disruption won't finish. What happened? The cargo will go up and up, but the benefit is to whom? To the carrier, right? That's why I post you the link. The carrier company can give 3 years bonuses to the employees. That is the company that related to Evergreen yang stuck dekat Suez Canal tu. Faham tak? Ada masalah stuck pun, because of that they have to pay kan, indemnify all the people involved, but they still can give bonuses to the employees, 3 years bonuses. Crazy. 3 years bonuses. Just imagine you kerja baru setahun dapat 3 tahun punya gaji. Kan? Memang hebat lah. Gaji 3,000 kali 3,600. Syok. Tapi to them, that's why most of the carrier profit is double or triple, even more than Amazon. Because of, just imagine the freight rates increase more than double, right? Right? The whole process, the whole cost is the same, but the rates increase. Then they run a profit, right? And they run a profit, totally profit. When increase to double, 100% profit increase. When the rate is going triple, 300% profit increase. So just imagine, that's why they can give bonuses. That's why it's good to work with companies rather than government. Before the pandemic, people like to work with companies because companies give bonuses. Right? You work for 1 year, you get 3-month bonus. It's okay, but if your salary is high, it's big. Sometimes 5-month bonus. Economy is good, 5-month bonus, 7-month bonus. The most I heard in Malaysia is 18-month bonus. That one during a very boom economic period. Working with private sector, 18-month bonus. 18 months, 18 bulan bonus. Just imagine dapat duit gaji 18 bulan punya gaji. Itu dah besar kan. That's why those days people like to work with private companies. But when the pandemic happened, these private companies, the first front yang akan collapse. Dulu imagine pilot airlines before pandemic, kan gaji 30,000, 20,000 kan. Paling junior 15,000 kan. Senior 130,000. Pilot cakap pilot pun pandang respect. Right? Sebut boyfriend, girlfriend pilot, oh, best lah. Kan, mesti kaya kan. But because of the pandemic, pilot, diorang asyik lemak. Because they are the first front line yang affected by pandemic. No more flights. Not only 1 2 months, 2 years now. Flight no more. No flight, less flight. So they don't need more pilot. Right? So that happened. Even for stewardess, steward dulu kan glamour menyeport glamour and a lot of money, good salary for carrier kan. Tapi sekarang what happened? All grounded. So now people looking for government servant lah. Nak join jadi government kan, government servant. But once economy going up again, the pandemic is normal, then the private sector will come up again, right? But it takes time. They calculate take 2 or 4 years the economy to be boom again or stabilize and towards boom. That time maybe saya pun dah tua, awak pun dah masuk 30 kan. So be careful lah. Because not all position is safe. Even government also if everybody is keep on, if people keep, the pandemic keep on and we have keep on MCO, government pun dah last problem, right? When MCO, people want money. You just imagine what happened to EPF. You know EPF, Employee Provident Funds, is the most biggest investment arm for the government, because the government have the fund in billions, or one time is at trillions. So these are the money that enhance the government to invest and get more profit. But the MCO, they allow people to withdraw their saving. Right? What happened? The saving of PPF is going down, and down to the extent that maybe will affect people's confidence on the EPF investment. Later, if confidence affected, people that have saving millions in the EPF, right, will what? Will withdraw the cash and want to invest to other places. Then it will collapse the EPF. That's why it's dangerous. That's why I keep telling you all, if you take my transport seminar class, PPMG 3123, you must think relatively. Cara berfikir yang relatif. That once happen to this part, how does it relate to other parts? Right. That one is good thinking in order for you to identify problems and identify problems, strengths, and weaknesses. All right. So, like I told just now, BOL ni covers all under most of the countries punya regulations. Is a must. It's a compulsory documentation for import exports. And BOL also involve all modes, not only ships, rail, yang ada cargo lah, rail, freight, roads. Cuma the terms is different. Maybe they call it BOL, maybe they call it waybill, maybe they call it manifest, but the purpose is the same, right? Why BOL is popular? Because BOL covers shipping, and shipping covers 90% of the world trade. World trade 90% shipping. So it's very important. Right? Sama jadi. So this is the process, the framework, the flow of the BOL. Right? The flow of BOL. Okay. Consignee is the person importers, right? Importers. In this case, in the flow, there's no consignor. Consignor should be at the back of the consignor is a shipper lah, at the back of the carrier, and the consignor. Consignor is a shipper, the owner of the cargo. They want to sell the cargo, right? So the consignee is the one that order the cargo or buy the cargo. right? Shipper is a consigner, all right? Once you secure the clients, right? What happens is that you see the flow. The solid line is product flow. The the long dotted line is cash flow. The small dotted line is information flow. So if you observe, the meaning of logistic is the transferring atau the movement of information, cargo and money, right? That's involved in logistic and supply chain. Not only cargo cannot move without the movement of information, right? They need the information for payment, to verify the payment. Then only once the payment is verified, then only the cargo can move, right? That's why you just imagine how complex is it when you deal with the cargo, the importers, the exporters from other part of the countries, right? And it's very dangerous, risky, because if you don't clear the payment first, you just transfer the good like COD, then it's dangerous, nah? For last mile delivery, maybe is okay, because the value of the cargo is not much like import export cargo, right? Maybe 10 ringgit, 100 ringgit, 20, 1,000 is not much. Otherwise, you can still have you pay first, then they deliver, right? But for international trade, import export, they involve billion or millions. You cannot do that. You pay first 1 million, and suddenly the exporter don't want to give you the cargo, uh, because of some reason. Then you are lost. You won't get back the money. That's why you need the document to verify, and the terms in the document is clarified in terms of the ownership transferring, and then the carrier. So you need to have the information of the carrier. The carrier will help you to verify everything. So once the cargo is on the carrier, then it's safe, right? Then for sure lah, the cargo will go to you, right? If the carrier is a good carrier lah, right? They will send to you. That also is not sure. Why? Because along the way maybe being hijacked by the pirate. What happens if pirate hijack you, the ship? So what happened to your cargo? What happened to your payment? That's why you need the risk and insurance, risk management insurance. See, the transaction is very complex and very interesting. What happened to the pirate attacks of the ship? What happened to your cargo? Pirates sell them. Okay, what happened if suddenly along the way the ships sink, and the cargo and your cargo inside all perish in the sea? So what happened? Suddenly the ship strike a storm, and the ship's stability is affected by the storm. Suddenly your container going down to the sea, right? And perish. No more. You cannot trace the container anymore. What happened? That's why insurance come in. Before the cargo can mobilize, you need to clear the payment and also the insurance, right? So these are the things that you can see the flow here, right? The solid product flow. Product flow should be from the shipper, the consigner, to the carrier, to the consignee. Carrier plays major role because carrier holds the BOL to ensure that the cargo is on their ship, right? Right? BOL signed by carrier. Carrier agreed to pay, agreed to carry, right? But the cash flow, how is it? The consigner sent to the bank, right? Sent to the bank, right? What the informations, how much needed to be paid, and the bank assign instruction to the consignee, the buyers. You must pay this, right? I see the dotted small line, information flow. You must pay this, and then the consignor refer who's the carrier. Check the carrier. Does my cargo is on the ship or not? How is it? Okay or not? Carrier verify. Okay, then clear. Your cargo is on the way to you. Then you make the payment to the bank, right? When your bank paid, bank inform the shipper the money is in your account now. Then the shipper green light for the carrier to carry. See? So that is the process of BUL. And you talking about world trade. maybe the shipper or the consignor is in New York. The consignee is in Changlun. The bank where? Which bank want to use? International banking. See? So you just imagine the whole transaction. This one is what the simplified version of the whole process. Okay, that's why now you understand why we will talk about supply chain. They talk about logistics is involving the movement of cargo, information, and money. But the goal of logistics is to ensure that the cargo reach their importers or buyers at the right time, right condition, right amount. But before that can happen, these three must go: information, money, product. Understand? Oh, ini tak cek kelas. Tidur ke? You all sleeping or you all listening?
Listening, sir.
Dan Nisha always listening. Others?
Listening,
Others,
sir.
Nisha? You always listening, but others how?
Listening.
Tak faham tak?
Sir.
Good. Awak nampak banyak good yang tidak senyap Ada soalan tak? 3.26 dah tak berhenti pun. Lalu saya berhenti check Interesting tak This is the process That's why when people talk about movement of three product and information, money and product, that is what they mean the whole system of trading, world international trade. So to avoid any bogus transaction, you cannot pay immediately. You need to ensure with the carrier that my cargo is on the board or not, on the deck or in your ship. That your ship going to my port or not? Yes. When? Yeah. Confirm, then the money goes in the bank for the exporter. And then the exporter, once receives the bank, the money, they will inform the carrier, now you can go. Faham tak? Sebab at risk, it's very totally at risk. You don't know the importer, importer don't know the exporter, the carrier don't know you don't know the carrier, so it's based on document and verification process, authentication process yang robust. Barulah the confident, faham? To pay. You just imagine you need to pay to somebody, let's say 4 million, 10 millions for the cargo, but you never know them. What guarantee do you have? See, there's a question. It's not small amount of money, right? Some process involve half payment first. Once reach the port of importers, then the carrier will inform the exporter, and the carrier will inform the importers. The importer will contact the importers. Your cargo is arriving at your port now, so please clear the total amount. Boleh juga. It happen juga. Because this is on the part of importer punya risiko kan. They want to secure. Once confirmed by the port, your product arrive at your port, then you clear the money, and then the ship will release the cargo to you, to the port, and you can take at the port. So the process is very complex. It's very careful process because involving millions of dollars. Just imagine the world trade comes to trillions of dollars. Trillions. The value of trade. But it happened. And it helps most countries. And it helps businesses. There are bogus and fraud, but not much, not many, because the system is there. But as I told you before, the system is managed by the human. Human is full of positive and negative side. It will happen also. Fraud cannot be rectified, cannot be avoided 100%. It can only be avoided if the human have a clear conscience mind, and then fraud can be avoided, and a clear process that is more robust to security and safety, and that's what they keep on improving, right? So these are the things. Any question? Young cat.
Yes, doctor.
Any question?
No, so far no.
You understand?
Understand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Zahira. Zakira. Kenapa Zakira?
No, no, no. No, sir.
Oh. Tihani? Tengku Tihani?
No from me, sir.
You understand?
Yes.
So once if you go for interview, they ask you to explain what do you mean by movement of information, money and product, then you can answer now. Right? And relate to the goals of logistics. Logistic goals is second. The first is distinct first. Because that is trading. You need money first to move everything. Right? Okay. If no question, we start the class today. It's 4 already. So maybe you have other class after this. So thank you very much. So we see on Wednesday, okay?
Thank you, sir. Stay safe.
Right.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Bye.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Take care. Pandemic is not finished yet.